Coronavirus COVID-19 crisis is impacting many countries including our country Malaysia, and this crisis impact a lot of companies and sectors including manufacturing, oil and gas, construction and etc. So, according to the assignment given by Madam, me and my teammates has created a stretch management report to alert the top management to our company selected by us as a safety officer. So now me and my teammates going to present the presentation of our assignment. Let's go. Our company is one of the electronic sector based company with many years of experience in supplying electronic components, sub-assemblies, solutions and large varieties of products to our local market. The company has been established in 1997 and is ISO 9001 approved. As we acknowledged, electronics is one of the fastest evolving and most innovative industry. Conjugated with that, we specialize in passive components, RF components, RFIDs, and ASICs. Our main office located in our national capital, Kuala Lumpur, which is accessible to both suppliers and customers. Moreover, our main stocking warehouse is adjacent to our office. We have been maintain a good productivity in all these years in all the up and downs. But after the pandemic COVID-19 hit the world and our country as well, company fall into a great negative impact and we have faced many issues due to this pandemic. The main impact that faced by our company in this COVID-19 are downward trend in sales, earnings, and free cash flow, increased supply chain risk, tightening cash flow and straightened working capitals, creator buildup and non-payment of statutory debts, deteriorating customer relationships and increasing risk of bad debts and also deferred payment of staff salaries.
I'm going to explain about the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on electronic industry. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, a modest growth rate in the electronic market was witnessed globally. During the pandemic, the global electronics industry has faced a dual impact. The production facilities of the electronic parts have been halted owing to the logistics slowdown and unavailability of the workforce across the globe. On the other hand, various e-commerce companies all across the globe have discontinued the delivery of non-essential items, for example, most of the electronic products, which is affecting the electronic industry. Geographically, China has been hit hard by this spread of the virus as the country is an epicenter of the COVID-19. Not only China, several major economies including the US, Italy, France, Spain, Germany, and India are also affected by the COVID-19 outbreak, and so is their electronic industry. The two-thirds of US businesses operating in China expect demand to be lower as a result of COVID-19 due to the lack of sufficient staff. Organizations globally are experiencing unprecedented workforce disruption. The shutdown of the retail shops and showrooms of major brands, supermarkets, and hypermarkets for a definite period of time is further anticipated to affect the sales of various electronic products. Labor supply is declining because of quarantine measures and a fall in economic activity. The loss of labor income will translate into lower consumption of goods and services, which is detrimental to the continuity of businesses and ensuring that economics are resilient. Apart from this, COVID 19 has also disrupted the global supply chain of major electronic brands. China is the largest producer and exporter of various electronics input supplies that are essentially used to produce finished electronic goods. For example, Sony, Nikon, Canon, Dell, and many more. The ongoing production halt in China has forced the other electronic manufacturer to hold the production of the finished goods on a temporary basis, which is turn leading to the gap in the demand and supply of the electronic products. In addition to supply chain issues, there are also instances where projects are now being put on hold. Indeed, most industries across the world currently appear to be falling into one of the three categories, which are those that will unfortunately not survive the financial impact of the pandemic, those that are pausing all spending to weather the storm, and those that are either very busy or using this time to get ahead with final product developments.
The serious government action movement control order to control the spread of coronavirus causes our worker to experience many positive and negative impacts. First impact is anxiety and stress due to loss of income among the workers. This is due to loss of working hours, wages, job loss and lack of severance pay. Our employees also experience these impacts due to lack of money to manage their basic needs of family and responsibilities. This forces them to reduce their living standards drastically, which depends on their assets and benefits they had. This eventually leads them to overthink and develop depression. Most of our electronic sector workers are migrant workers from different countries. Lockdown due to this pandemic brought them to a situation where they don't have any works and are unable to travel to their native places. This leads them to experience helplessness due to increasing concerns of family members' health status and financial status, and the feel of could not be able to support their families during this crisis situation. Staying away from loved ones in these pandemic situations and feeling worthless to provide the health and basic needs of them aggravates the helplessness among our electronic migrant workers. Besides that, they also face impacts such as obsessive compulsion disorder. In order to avoid being prey of coronavirus, people are asked to wash hands every time they visit other places. They are forced to practice precautionary behaviors such as frequent hand washing, cleaning, and catastrophic thinking among them. This situation exacerbates the symptoms of OCD and lead to increased and problematic safety behaviors among our workers. Moreover, isolation and loneliness are one of the major impacts experienced by many of employees of our electronic sector due to social restrictions to avoid the spread of COVID-19. Social interactions are widely interlinked with psychological and mental well-being and social opportunities. Company shutdown and movement restrictions cause them to experience isolation and loneliness due to not meeting their friends in the workplace. They are unable to receive their social support, do not wish to communicate their concerns among them, and facing challenges in managing their problems all alone in this lockdown. Besides all the negative impacts that we talked just now, COVID-19 also causes positive impacts on our electronic sector workers. Some of the employees experience distress and peace by staying and spending time at home with their loved ones. They have an opportunity to communicate with their family members and spend more quality time with them fully without any company stress. This pandemic situation causes our electronic sector workers to understand the value of family, self-love, and also quality of time. In conclusion, many of our electronic company workers experience both positive and negative psychological and mental impact during this pandemic situation. However, it is depending on how they adapt to this situation. Now, let's see the example of OCD situation in our real life.
As a safety officer, I have prepared 5 stress management to reduce the occupational stress of the employees in my company. So, number 1, developing healthy responses. Instead of attempting to fight the stress with fast food or alcohol, do your best to make healthy choices when you feel the tension rise. Exercise is a great stress buster. Yoga can be an excellent choice, but any form of physical activity is beneficial. Also, make time for hobbies and favorite activities, whether it is reading a novel, going to concerts, or playing games with your family. Make sure to set aside time for the things that brings you pleasure. Getting enough good sleep is also important for effective. Number 2, establish boundaries. In today's digital world, it's easy to feel pressure to be available 24 hours a day. Establish some work life boundaries to yourself. That might mean making a rule not to check email from home in the evening or not answering the phone during dinner. Although people have different preferences when it comes to how much they blend their work and home life. Creating some clear boundaries between these realms can reduce the potential for work life conflict and the stress that goes with it. Number 3, take time to recharge yourself. To avoid the negative effects of chronic stress and burnout, we need time to replenish and return to our pre stress level of functioning. This recovery process requires switching off from work by having periods of time when you are neither engaging in work related activities nor thinking about work. That's why it's critical that you disconnect from time to time in a way that fits your needs and preferences. Don't let your vacation days go to waste. When possible, take time off to relax and unwind so you come back to work feeling reinvigorated and ready to perform at your best. Number 4, learn how to relax. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, and mindfulness, a state in which you actively observe present experiences and thoughts without judging them, can help melt away stress. Start by taking a few minutes each day to focus on a simple activity like breathing, walking, or enjoying a meal. The skill of being able to focus purposely on a single activity without distraction will get stronger with practice, and you'll find that you can apply it to many different aspects in your life. Finally, talk to your supervisor. Employees' health has been linked to productivity at work, so your boss has an incentive to create a work environment that promotes employee well being. Start by having an open conversation with your supervisor. The purpose of this isn't to lay out a list of complaints, but rather to come up with an effective plan for managing the stressors you have identified so you can perform at your best on the job. While some parts of the plan may be designed to help you to improve your skill in areas such as time management, other elements might include identifying employer sponsored wellness resources you can tap into, clarifying what's expected of you, getting necessary resources or support from colleagues, and reaching your job to include more challenging or meaningful tasks, or even making changes to your physical workplace to make it more comfortable and reduce strain.
Stressed at work?
Hi! In this video, you will learn about 4 ways to cope with stress that would otherwise prevent you from accomplishing a lot. You usually feel stressed when the goals you have to achieve outgrow the resources present at your disposal, such as a project's time frame and your current level of motivation. However, the state of being stressed consumes from your mind's capacity, hence leaving you with little room for productivity. So here are 4 effective tips to help you cope with stress. Stop multitasking. A theory in psychology called the Zeigarnik effect states that your brain tends to remember incomplete tasks more than the complete ones. Accordingly, when you multitask, your mind will keep hammering you with the other incomplete task you are performing at the same time. So focus on just one task and when done, start the other. Exercise. Doubtlessly, this tip perfectly works for anything, especially for stress management. You would be surprised if you knew how exercise works in each and every way to help your body systems work harmoniously and supply you with a dose of endorphins to make you more immune to stress afterwards. No matter how stuffed your work schedule is, find a way to squeeze exercise in. Think positively. Ever heard about NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming? It is a communication model that trains your mind to think in the most productive manner. For example, if you have a lot of work to do, you would perceive this as an exciting opportunity to challenge yourself and improve your time management skills. Drop perfectionism. Especially if you're of type A personality, it's easy to fall into the trap of perfectionism. While perfect doesn't exist, you will constantly feel stressed upon working relentlessly, but rarely feeling satisfied about the outcome. You'd argue that perfectionism brings out the best in you, but try being a high achiever instead. It's a healthier version of success. You can't avoid stress when running a business or handling a job, so it is time to consider dealing with it. With these techniques in mind, you will soon find yourself functioning productively even under stressful situations. Soon you will impress yourself and become everybody's preferred work partner.
Now, I'm going to conclude our presentation by saying that many issues faced by our employees and other sectors' employees as well. The issue include job security, stress and mental health, social isolation, personal health, finances, and work-life balance. To overcome these issues, the management should build a solid crisis management strategy. This is to protect the employees' health and safety and keep the business running as smooth as possible. The important role of management are keep employees calm and keep their stress levels at the very minimum, and also monitor and share the latest updates being released by WHO, governments, and other local authorities with employees. As misinformation spreads quickly, especially on social media, this might give panic among them. As we are aware, most economic sectors are set to resume. The management should ensure that all safety precautions are put in place before work resumes. Conclusion. Top management main priority is to make all workplaces safe from transmission of COVID-19 as required by the WHO World Health Organization. As well as workers, they should take initiatives to keep themselves safe at all times and free from any stress-induced impact. That's all from us. Thank you.